Welcome, all fans of turn-based tactics and giant combat mechs. Richter here. What if I told you that the perfect video game version of Pacific Rim and Evangelion already exists, and that it also happens to be one of the best tactical games of the past decade? Giant war machines, clashing with kaiju-like insectoids, a battlefield that shifts and evolves as the fight unfolds, an original turn-based combat system, and a constant challenge to your intellect and awareness. Please welcome Into the Breach. The story here is minimal, but it does a good job of justifying everything happening on a screen. There is a human-inhabited planet. There are giant alien insects pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. And there is a squad of mech pilots from the future, traveling back in time to save civilization, replaying the decisive moments of the war, again and again, until they finally succeed. It may not sound very original, and while the pixel art style is stylish and expressive, its simplicity can be off-putting to some. The music, though strong and atmospheric, mostly serves to support the overall experience. So why do I believe this is a game that anyone even remotely interested in tactics and not physically allergic to pixels should play? Here 5 reasons. A unique combat system. At first glance, the combat will feel familiar to any fan of the genre. There is your turn and there is the enemy's turn. Each side acts with all of its units at the same time. Your units move and perform one action per turn, and enemies, that's where things get interesting. On their turn, the mech insectoids move and then prepare their attacks, which only happen at the start of the next turn. And the key detail, you always see exactly what they're about to do, what they're targeting, how and in what order. You always have the information advantage. Sounds quite easy, right? Well, the catch is numbers. You are almost always outnumbered. Rarely your mechs even match the enemy count. The mech comes in waves, in different types, with different abilities, different stats, and every turn more of them crawl up from underground. In these conditions, simply dealing damage won't cut it, and that's where the fun begins. Almost every ability you mechs have isn't just about damage. Sometimes it's not about damage at all. They push enemies, pull them, rotate them, stun them, set them on fire, and generally make their lives miserable in a wide variety of creative ways. And yes, friendly fire works both ways. You see where this is going, right? A typical battle in Into the Breach becomes an endless chain of clever maneuvers and combinations. Step out of an attack line so one enemy kills another? Easy. Knock someone into water or an abyss? Perfect. Push and turn an enemy around so it kills its ally, shields your units and blocks a spawn point by dying in the process? We just get it started. And it goes on like this for the entire game, every fight, every turn, because without it, failure is inevitable. You are either a tactical genius or you are done. Unusual rules and balance. All of the above already makes the combat feel unusual, but things will be much simpler if the goal was the familiar, kill the enemies and don't die yourself. But no. Missions rarely ask you to kill every enemy, and losing all your mechs doesn't always mean failure, and failing a mission doesn't always mean losing the war. Your main indicator of how close you are to defeat, and one of your constant concerns, is the power grid. Every destroying building reduces it, and the mech love destroying buildings. They'll go for them every chance they get, sometimes more often than they attack your mechs. And that's where the difficulty spikes. Keeping a few agile, combat-ready mechs alive? Not too hard. Now try protecting a dozen immobile, defenseless buildings on top of that. Very often your robots will end up heroically shielding civilians with their own metal bodies. And then you add the mission objectives on top of it all. Protect a moving train, defend a light artillery, keep a rocket launch site intact, terraform part of the map, destroy a dam or a mountain range. And every mission lasts exactly 5 turns, with enemy reinforcements crawling out of the ground every single one of them. Now you can already feel it, right? You're almost never allowed to relax. And yes, destroying a dam will flood part of the map, killing enemies. Mountains can be leveled, forests can be set on fire, ice can be shattered. You reshape the battlefield, sometimes to your advantage and sometimes to your own detriment. And as if that wasn't enough, there are missions modifiers. On one map, a flood gradually submerges tiles every turn. On another, air support bumps specific areas. On a third, an ice storm freezes predetermined tiles. Can you even imagine the sheer range of tactical possibilities all of these conditions create? A fair challenge. Despite the seemingly monstrous complexity of everything described above, the game feels surprisingly fair. Randomness in maps, objectives, mission conditions and enemy spawns is balanced by complete determinism in actions. Attacks always hit, abilities always deal a precise amount of damage, effects always trigger. You will never run into a situation where a well-calculated plan fails because of a bad dice roll or a point-blank shot that somehow misses. A plan can fail because you didn't account for knockback from an explosion, forgot the order of enemy attacks, or missed a vac targeting your mech, which after it moves will simply demolish the buildings behind it. Or for 1,000 other reasons, but every single one of them will be your fault. You won't be able to blame luck, only your own lack of perception and foresight. Yes, there are situations where the number of enemies makes it impossible to get out without losing mechs or buildings, but reaching that point usually requires several turns of mistakes in a row, and such situations are rare enough to never feel frustrating. In 99.9% of battles, a perfect outcome is possible if you plan and execute correctly. And the game's balance quietly supports you. If there are too many enemies on a field, it slows down their spawn rate, and they start targeting your mechs more often, which ironically makes things easier. The opposite is also true. If you are clearing enemies too quickly, reinforcements arrive in greater numbers and try to create more complex situations. In short, the game constantly adjusts to keep things from becoming either too easy or too overwhelming, keeping the player in a steady state of flow. Proper roguelike. The game is a roguelike, but even if that word alone gives you unpleasant flashbacks, don't rush to judge. In our time, when half of indie games try to mask the lack of handcrafted content with procedural generation and endless grinding built around a repetitive gameplay, Into the Breach stands out by actually using the genre's formula the right way. In every new run, missions and maps are generated randomly, but they consistently turn out interesting and varied. You rebuild your squad from scratch each time. Upgrades in shops and pilots you encounter are randomized, naturally leading to unique builds. The variety of mechs, each with radically different stats and abilities, forces you to find new solutions to familiar situations. Some deal no damage at all, but instead push, rotate or stun multiple enemies. Others gather enemies together and strike them with arcs of electricity in chain. Some set entire sections of the map on fire. Others deal massive damage, but constantly take it themselves. There are 42 of these mechs in the game, and 20 pilots, each with unique abilities that unlock as they level up, dozens of abilities and upgrades in shop. As a result, 2 runs, one after another, can feel completely different. A full run takes anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour and a half, so losing progress never feels too punishing, and after a defeat there is always that feeling of just one more run and then I definitely go to sleep. Well thought out progression. In every run, you build your squad from scratch. The only exception is that you can carry over one pilot from a previous run, whether it was successful or not. By completing missions, you earn reputation, which you can then spend on reactor cores for your mechs, new pilots, active and passive abilities, or restoring your power grid. Sometimes you can also obtain these rewards directly during missions, by completing optional objectives or by securing time pod that can occasionally appear on the map. Reactor cores allow you to upgrade your mechs, increasing their health or movement and improving their abilities. For example, with a single core, your artillery mech's shots will no longer damage allied buildings. With 2, your local rogue mech won't just attack adjacent targets, it will be able to charge in a straight line across the entire map. Pilots also grow stronger. At first only the basic one is available, but as you found new pilots during runs, they become permanently unlocked for future playthroughs. As they level up, they gain abilities, some universal, like increased health or movement range, and some unique, like the ability to move again after using active skills, or to deploy anywhere on the map at the start of a mission, damaging nearby enemies. And then there is a meta progression and achievements, a system worth highlighting on its own. Each completed achievement grants points, which you can use to unlock new mech squads. Some achievements are general, completing a run, level up a pilot to the maximum level, and so on. Others are tied to specific squads, each designed with a particular playstyle in mind. These achievements actively push you toward using the squad's strengths to their fullest. A flame squad might require you to set half the map on fire. A squad focused on pushing and rotating enemies might ask you to eliminate a certain number of WEC using their own allies. Every achievement is carefully designed to encourage you to explore the full potential of your units, constantly learning new tactics and approaches. And if you prefer, you can also assemble your own custom squad from your favorite mechs. Naturally, there are achievements for them as well. In the end, everything described above comes together into dozens of hours of dense, engaging gameplay that constantly offers something new, all broken into short, comfortable sessions that let you play at your own pace. And considering the price, let's be pragmatic for a second, the game more than earns every cent. If you enjoy solid turn-based tactics, wide tactical possibilities and complex chess-like puzzles, if you are a fan of Evangelion or Pacific Rim, then this is your chance to pilot your own EVA and face your own kaiju.
Today we are canceling the apocalypse!
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. You can also support my work on Patreon. And remember, there is no such thing as an unwinnable situation, you just need to find the right tactic. And good luck to you!